Hey guys, it's Jerry with Curri Properties. Hope you're all doing well. First day of summer here, and we're definitely feeling that summer heat. I'm sure you probably are too. Anyway, we're out here today on some vacant agricultural land out in the Yeehaw Junction area, which is pretty much where Western Indian River County and Osceola counties meet, right by the turnpike. In fact, the east side of this property butts up against the southbound lane of the turnpike, which adds an interesting element to this property. Now, the western part of this property has recently been sold, so the remaining 305 acres, the easternmost property, is for sale. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little look at the land out here, talk about some of the issues, the good things, maybe some of the curious things you got to be aware of if you're looking to buy vacant land, especially to develop it one day. And this land does have an approved zoning of warehouses and distribution center and commercial uses like that. So that's a kind of a big thing these days, and being right near the turnpike and the exit and entrance ramps of the turnpike is strategically a very well placed piece of property. So we're going to take a look. We'll talk about some things as we go around, and let's see what you guys think. Okay, so here we are kind of in the center of I'll say the southern section of the property, and you can't really see right now, but there are cattle out here, so it's used kind of as a pasture for cattle ranching right now. One of the things I wanted to mention is, aside from being a real estate agent, is I've been an environmental consultant for many years, most of my career, and I've helped a lot of developers over the years find land they can develop, and also get them through the entitlement process with the different environmental issues, wetlands, listed species. Those are two of the primary ones. And what you can see here in the background here is, there's some wetlands here. They call them forested wetlands because they're mostly trees. In this case, a lot of sweet bay trees. And even though we're still kind of at the tail end of the dry season, and we are behind in rainfall, which is kind of typical this time of year, we are coming into the rainy season, and so some of the water levels in these wetlands will definitely get higher as the summer progresses and we start getting some of that rain. But what I wanted to say is, this is a very nice piece of land, and we'll go get a little closer. But in the background back there, you can see the turnpike. So it backs up the turnpike. For the most part, this land is high and dry. Scattered oak trees here and there, but it's well maintained with the cattle grazing out here and everything like that. Again, it's got a zoning approval for warehouses and a distribution center. And so let's just take a little more look around and see what you all think. Okay, so another issue that seems to be present on this property are gopher tortoises. Here's a burrow, and for those of you who aren't familiar with them, tortoises like to burrow in the ground for their nesting and protection and that sort of thing. So they can get quite deep, and apparently on this property there's quite a few of them out here. So we're just starting to drive around a little bit, get an idea of what it looks like right now. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call this pristine gopher tortoise habitat, but it does have low-lying vegetation that they can eat, including prickly pear, which is a cactus, native cactus. And if you can see in the background again, we're getting closer to the turnpike, right behind that tree line. You can see cars pass through here and there. So again, it's a very desirable property from the fact that it's mostly high and dry, right off of 441, which is connected to State Road 60, which, the stone's throw from here is the Florida's Turnpike entrance and exit. So just want to make you all aware of this property that's out here. It is for sale. Again, I think it's 305 acres total. And let's take a little more look around, see what we can find. Okay, here we are. We're pretty much at the southern end of the property. We get a little further south, but it's pretty much the highlight. Again, you can probably hear the turnpike whistling a little bit in the background. The cars passing up and down the highway. It's buffered by a bunch of pine trees, pine trees, native trees, live oaks. Plus there's a live oaks here and there, but for the most part, the property's pretty much open, again, ground pretty much high and dry, which is a good thing. And I know there's a couple of wetlands that, you know, are also on the adjacent property, but they're probably pretty avoidable for the most part if you need to, because again, most of the property here, probably 90% of it or more, it appears to be high and dry. Okay, well that just about does it for today. Again, not a lot to look at because again, it's mostly cleared, vacant land, which is another good thing. You don't have all the land development costs of clearing a lot of vegetation. But anyway, you see my contact information at the bottom of the screen. Again, Jerry with Curri Properties, and I'd love to talk to you about this or any other property. You probably know me from the videos I put out recently about waterfront condos and homes and, you know, that sort of thing in the Melbourne and Brevard County area. Well, this is a little bit different. And what I'm going to do, again, because of my history with working with the development community and as an environmental consultant, to, you know, spice things up a little bit and, you know, give some different perspectives on different kinds of land. Every once in a while, I'm going to take you all out to, we'll say, a vacant piece of land that has some level of development potential, whether it be for commercial, residential, you know, multifamily residential, anywhere in between. I've worked on them all, even agricultural land, you know, for equestrian or whatever. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, folks. I know this area about as well as anybody, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, and, you know, maybe connect you or your partners up with a piece of land that's the right one to develop for you. Because certainly, if you can avoid any issues and get through that process as quick as you can, which isn't very quick these days, the better off it is for you. So anyway, I appreciate your time. Hope you learn a little bit, you know, about this kind of land. And again, if you're interested in this or, you know, a home or anything, you know, again, call me, Jerry, Curri Properties. You know, my main office is in Satellite Beach, Brevard County, and hope to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.